during that time, what I faced challenge was I couldn't crack interview. I remember you suggested me that why not try internal switch before even going for external, because I was facing very difficult. Back then it was very limited. They used to hire only experience. I remember you suggested me try to implement ML in your existing project, right? So in automation itself, I started exploring more on ML side, got recognized by the internal AI and machine learning COE team. Manager just told, why not join our team? So external was very difficult. As I was saying, I attended various Bosch, various company. I was rejected again. Almost 15 company, 20 company rejected. Good companies, all product based, like GE I have attended, Bosch, 24/7 AI, various company I was rejected again. Learned few things, how do I cope it. And then as soon as and when my entire course was coming to an end, right? My main intention to take full stack was whatever part I was missing in my initial, right? I know about regression, all of this, right? But I didn't know about that end-to-end pipeline, MLOps part, enterprise grade project. So that is something which I learned in the full stack data science batch. And then, from last 1 year, I started. But this time, what I did was I was rejecting companies. I got multiple offers, but I was very selective on what I wanted, what domain I wanted.
This is nice. Hello, guys. We have with us Shiva, who has successfully made a career transition to data science in Cisco, which is an amazing company. We'll get to know more about Shiva, what was his preparation strategy, and many more things. So welcome, Shiva, to this podcast.
Sir. Thank you.
How are you feeling? Sir. How are you feeling? Probably finally you're able to get into data science, first of all.
Good. Very excited. And I made a switch almost 5 months back. So new role, completely new domain, and very challenging work here in supply chain.
Perfect. So Shiva, we'll just start with give us your brief intro about your education and how did you probably go into think of going into data science?
Okay. So I started, I completed my BE in computer science from Dayanand Sagar College, Bangalore in 2017. And then as a part of campus recruitment, I was hired by Volvo. And initially, when you do a campus recruitment, you don't have a liberty to pick your domain, right? So I
also went as a software engineer at that point of time.
Okay. Yeah. So they assigned me into automation project, mostly on UiPath, automation anywhere, Python automation, Selenium automation. So I worked almost 1 year in this automation phase, right? And then since I already had idea about OCR tool, ML, few of the ML libraries and all, right? RPA felt a little bit boring because you just need to look into the document, do your processes. You don't get exposure to the business side of it.
Yes.
So I realized that I should work something both technology and the domain side as well. That's when I started exploring various technologies. I got to know that cloud computing is one which has good scope back in 2017, and also AI and machine learning, right? But when I thought about the journey, I thought I had a continuation if I go with machine learning, right? Since I already had a little bit idea on Python and all. So I thought AI and machine learning would be good plan for me. So I initially started taking various certification from Plural side and some other certification. Then within 1 year, I started looking outside. But I couldn't crack any interview. Almost 10, 15, I think. Yes, I rejected.
You're from FSDS November batch, right?
Yeah.
So I have only taken stats, machine learning, and that only.
Okay. So that was my first phase in 2017. Then the second phase I'll come. That in 2018 I tried various things.
When did you finish your engineering? When did you finish
2017. 2017. And in 18, I think that was the second iNeuron batch, very early stage of iNeuron. You and Chris sir were there. So I made my...
Me and Sudhanshu.
Yeah, Sudhanshu, correct. Yeah. So during that time, what I faced challenge was I couldn't crack interview. I remember you suggested me that why not try internal switch before even going for external, because I was facing very difficult. Back then it was very limited. They used to hire only experience, right? So that time, what I did is I did an internal switch. I remember you suggested me try to implement ML in our existing project, right? So in automation itself, I started exploring more on ML side, form recognizer, text recognition, and all, and also participated in various hackathon. Right, got recognized by the internal AI and machine learning COE team. Manager just told, why not join our team, right? So that was my first phase of transition into
Internal switch, in
yeah,
short, right?
internal switch. Yeah. So external was very difficult, as I was saying. I attended various Bosch, various company. I was rejected. So that was my first phase. Then I went into it, almost worked for like 3 years in the same company, internal project. Then I got to know ins and out of machine learning, how it works, how do you build a enterprise grade AIML project, how do you build the AI and machine learning model, right? So as soon as I came close to 4 years of my experience, I decided that I need to make another transition, and this time with more skills, more knowledge and all. That's when I registered for full stack data science. So one thing that I noticed initially was I had no idea about end-to-end pipeline creation. How do you build a MLOps pipeline? How do you deploy it in GCP, Spark-based, data engineering, Snowflake? So these were various challenges that I noticed. Right. Again, I went through an interview process, this time at the next level of data science. Probably I was looking for lead. Again, almost 15 company, 20 companies rejected. Good companies, all product based, like GE I have attended, Bosch, 24/7 AI, various company I was rejected again. Learned few things, how do I cope it, and then as soon as and when my entire course was coming to an end, right, my main intention to take full stack was whatever part I was missing in my initial, right. I know about regression, all of this, right, but I didn't know about that end-to-end pipeline, MLOps part, enterprise grade project and all. So that is something which I learned in the full stack data science batch. And then, yeah, from last 1 year, I started. But this time, what I did was I was rejecting companies. I got
Nice.
multiple offers, but I was very selective on what I wanted, what domain I wanted,
This
what
is
role.
nice. So
Yeah,
if you probably focus on your skill sets, you'll
yeah,
start rejecting
yeah,
the company. Okay,
yeah.
amazing. Okay, how was your experience of learning with iNeuron? And specifically about
Uh,
the mentors and all, you can also talk about that.
I think great, very great experience, because I had been part of various courses, not just with Iron Neuron. Internally, we had Coursera, Simply Learn, also various forums and all I have attended. But the biggest thing what I got from iNeuron is get an industry experience. That's one advantage, I think. The most thing is that if you go to any online courses, right, you just get uh, a code written on Jupyter Notebook. That's mostly I see in even Coursera or most of the things, right? But here, the biggest differentiator was that how do you deploy it? How do you put it in GCP, AWS? How do you build your ETL pipeline and all, right? So that is one major difference. I think people who are going above 4 and 5 years experience, right? That this thing really counts, right? So that is something which that stands out and different from other courses, and that's what helped me in iNeuron.
And what about the mentors? Like, how were the mentors and all?
Mentors, I would say good. I think, I mean, I don't need to say it. Like, I have registered for 7, 8 different. I just do it. I don't look much. I just, even if it is a repetition rate, I just take a course, very affordable, right? So I loved the course. I think I don't need to explain how good Sudhanshu sir and Chris sir are, right? And even the other team, right? You will get to know. I mean, the way they tell you, explain you about end-to-end project, right? There only you'll get to know like how good they are in terms of explaining, right? So
Okay,
that is
thank
something.
you,
Yeah,
Shiva, for your
yeah,
kind words. Thank you.
yeah.
Shiva, tell us about your interview process. Like, what all questions they have specifically asked, specifically with respect to Cisco, your recent company. So,
Okay.
general overview, like what all questions they focused on, and all, so that audience will come to know about it.
Okay. So there is a difference when you attend an interview for 1 or 2 years of experience, and then when you go beyond 5 years, right? Initially, when you are in 2 years experience, it's more on algorithm side. What is your regression? What is the accuracy function, classification, traditional machine learning algorithm? But as and when you cross 5 years experience, right? the topic that they focus is more. They don't just focus on your technical side. They also focus on your cloud, your data engineering side as well. It's not like you need to be pro on data engineering and cloud, but you need to have, as a lead data scientist, you need to have that knowledge on all of this, right? So basically, I had 4 rounds here in Cisco. The initial first round was completely technical side of data science, where they focused on, they don't focus on simple algorithms, right? They just present you a entire data set and they show you some histogram graphs and all. What do you tell by looking at this graph? Or they just show you your box plot and all, right? Which features would you select? So it's completely different for 5 years experience. So first round initially entirely on data science stuff, all this use case level thing, right? And next round was mostly on your SQL and data engineering side. So I had SQL questions. Sorry, I think that was third. But before that, I had a programming round on Python. But here, it's all about pandas, your sklearn, and few basic data structure. You don't need to be like too good. I think my interviewer was kind for me to allow Stack Overflow in one of the TSA question, right? So yeah, it was on Python. The third round was completely on your data engineering side, SQL. So some things related to various tools that I have used in data, like Snowflake, and in Azure. I have worked mostly on Azure side, right? So how do you build this ETL pipeline, Azure Data Factory, mostly on that side. And the fourth round is completely end-to-end, like how do you build an end-to-end enterprise grade product. So project. So here it's about how do you build a enterprise pipeline with model retraining. How do you do a drift in post production stage, right? There is a model drift happening, and all of this, right? And how do we deploy it?
I think we have covered most of the thing in the FSDS batch.
Exactly. So this was actually covered in the full stack data science batch, right? How do you calculate this drift? And I think also how do you various tools that we use in cloud, like Kubernetes, various app services and all that. I think even it was part of iNeuron courses as well, right? Where AWS data engineering and also Azure ML machine learning, there are certain courses in iNeuron also. So basically that helped in cracking. So yeah, this was basically the 4th round.
Great
on
Shiva.
The technical side. Yeah,
great amazing 4 rounds. Obviously this is difficult, but you really need to prepare well to probably crack those. Let us talk about your day-to-day activities currently, what you're doing.
Okay, so here mostly now since this role is not just like a developer, right? It's about data scientist role. You need to work with the different stakeholders to understand the business requirement. You might end up with meetings for sure, in understanding all the requirements. What is that they are looking? What is the problem statement that they have? Right?
So probably you are communicating more with business analysts, product managers, domain expertise,
in currently in supply chain. So they have various data sources in different databases, right? So it's about identifying the right data sources, how you are going to pull in that data and make it available in our cloud, and how as a data scientist we can use it. And then comes the machine learning and AI part, right? Where we need to do what it's very used database. We need to identify what are the right features. Only in the basic courses you get 10-15 features, but when you work in enterprise project site, you have different data sources. You need to do different joins. Probably you may end up with 200-300 features, and out of that you need to shortlist what are the right features that you can use, right? So probably on that. And then comes the model building part, on how do you build it, and then the deployment. So yeah, you end up with technical stuff, coding as well, but at the same time the other aspect also comes into place, like the data engineering planning, how the deployment happens.
Okay, Shiva, like, see, you have got rejected in so many different companies right?
Yeah.
What would you like to talk to the audience, like tell the audience who are probably preparing for data science, who are still trying and probably not able to clear the interview? So any guidance that you really want to give them?
I think patience is a key, and you need to learn how do you accept your rejection, right? If you, the moment you try to accept your rejection, right, you will learn things. Usually when we get rejected, we get frustrated, but you need to pick up a learning from it, right? And when you start getting rejected more and more, right, you will learn how exactly you need to pitch in your answers. Sometimes in an interview, right, what I feel is when you attend an interview, you should take a control of interview. The moment you give
That
the
I always
interviewer,
say
yeah, you
that I
always,
always
this is
say in
your
my
dialogue for sure. This is your dialogue. You shouldn't allow the panelists to take a control. As soon as they take it, they're going to dig in very deep. So that is one thing. Okay. And as I said, right, even this interview process, right, it is like your, what I feel is it is like your sprint, right? So you complete your first iteration, take out few learning, right? Then you try to learn something, and then you go to your next sprint. You might get rejected, learn few things, what are the questions asked, what were the things you made a mistake, right? Even when you're answering, right, certain question might you answer in such a way that you end up digging hole for yourself, right? You should be very careful about your words, what you're telling. Like, let's say if you don't know something, right, don't mention it. If you know, let's say I know ensemble technique, you should mention ensemble technique very quickly. He will for sure ask you, what is it, can you explain me in little bit deep detail. Don't try to end up bringing unnecessary topic in your use cases and all, right? I use GCP, I use this, that and all. If you mention GCP, mostly they'll ask. If you don't
so
know,
which
just
you are
don't.
very good at it, try to mention that.
Yeah, which are very good and confident, make sure you mention it. They will 100% come into that topic, right? That's one thing. And as I said, right, you should learn from your each iteration, right? I was rejected from first 10 companies. I just took what were the learnings here. Then I went to the next phase again. I was rejected, whatever I was rejected, I used to take a learning out of it. And probably in this iteration, right, you might crack some other interview for sure.
Okay, perfect. Now, Shiva, we'll play just a rapid, quick fire round. Okay. I'll
Okay.
ask one question without thinking. You have to say whatever word comes in your mind. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So, your first question is, what is the
Yeah.
key to success?
As I said, patience and belief in yourself is something that you need to have.
Okay. Who influenced you to get into this field? Data science field.
Probably me.
Okay.
I think I did a lot of research. Once, as I said, right, in automation, I was bored. I had done a lot of research on what I need to pick. As I said, I ended up with cloud and data science, but then I choose data science.
Okay. What is your recent best decision?
Recent, making a change, right? That's the, I worked in same company for almost 5 years, right?
Okay.
I was always in my comfort zone.
So you made a switch.
Yeah. Should I take it or not? When you're working in a very good company, right, good people, it is very difficult. I'm telling you, most difficult. But for when you need to be a little bit selfish to grow, right? I mean, that taking that decision was good, because here I get to learn so many new things.
Okay, perfect. Sorry. What is the favorite part of your current job right now?
Current job, I think the domain. Supply chain is too huge. I think today entire industry is dependent on supply chain. We think that, oh, it is some business side and all, right? But the domain that I'm in, right, it's way too huge. So many things to learn and explore here. So I think that domain is very interesting and has a good scope in future.
What is the first word that comes when you hear about data science?
Data science.
Oh, you're thinking too much now. Should not think.
I think it's some investigation job. You need to, yeah, like Sherlock Holmes, you need to dig in the data and come up with something.
Okay, final question. Yeah. Okay, final question. If 3 wishes were granted to you, what would that be?
3 wishes were granted to me. Difficult one.
Okay, this cannot be a part of rapid fire. Not a problem whatsoever. You have to think for that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So thank you, Shiva, for your
Yeah.
time. This was an
Yeah.
amazing podcast. I hope the audience may have understood, may have got motivated with respect to your learnings, your
Yeah.
transition phase and all.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for giving us your time. This was it of this particular podcast. We have extended the time limit. We did not
Yeah.
know like how much time it went ahead, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, Shiva, once again. This was
Thank you
it
so
from
much.
our side, guys. I will see you all in the next podcast. Have a great day. Thank you, Shiva. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.